What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. In today's video, we are rolling right along with our 2023 7-round mock drafts, team mock drafts, and now we have reached the Cleveland Browns. Now, besides this, we only have 5 teams left, so I'm saving teams. I'm trying to save teams like the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens for last, or at least until we get some news on the quarterback situation. I was going to do the Green Bay Packers today. I'm just holding out hope just a little bit longer to see what happens with the Aaron Rodgers situation. Kind of the same thing with Lamar Jackson. So I'm kind of skirting around those two teams. They'll probably be my last two. So today we have the Cleveland Browns. And I got to be honest with you guys, the Cleveland Browns have a pretty darn good roster when you look at it. I mean, this team, after free agency, looks pretty poised to contend in the AFC North. Hopefully, the Deshaun Watson has, shaken off the rust. Last year, he didn't look great in the 5 games, I believe it was, 5 or 6 games, or 4 games, whatever it may be. I don't even know. The small sample size that we saw from Deshaun Watson, he didn't look great. But now, he gets to play a full season. I think that he's going to revert back to his old ways of being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And he's got a good roster around him. He's got a good offensive line for the most part. He's got better weapons now, I would say, especially after adding Elijah Moore. So the Cleveland Browns don't have a pick until pick 74. But I got to be honest with you, with pick 74, 98, 111, 126, 140, and 142, that's a nice little, 58 pick stretch or 68 pick stretch. Yeah, there you go. There's my math. 68 pick stretch where they have 6 picks. So that's pretty nice there. A pick every 10 picks. They could do some real damage in the mid rounds. So with the first pick for the Cleveland Browns, for me, I do like what they did with their defensive line for the most part. Adding Dalvin Tomlinson was obviously huge. Having Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive ends in the entire NFL. I really wanted this pick to be an interior defensive lineman. But the thing is, I don't really see someone on the board right now to my liking that I would pick with this first pick. There's some middling guys there. I like Carl Brooks at a Bowling Green. I don't think he's worth the 74th overall pick. I like Zach Pickens as well. I think it's just a little too high to pick those guys. I also like some receivers. I know what you guys are going to say. They have Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, Jakeem Grant, Marquise Wilson, Anthony Schwartz, guys like this. They could still use someone else on the outside. I was thinking about Marvin Mims potentially if he's on the board at some point, to get some outside speed at 4.38. That would be great. But I'm going to stick with the defensive line here. Behind the starters, behind Myles Garrett, behind, Obo Okonkwo, I'm not really a fan of the depth. Isaiah Thomas, Alex Wright. I think they need another defensive end in there for me to feel confident. Don't get me wrong. Obo had a great year last year, a career year, 5 sacks. But in 4 years, he only had 9.5 sacks. Maybe that 5-sack season was a fluke. I don't want to stick around to the point where we say, oh, man, that was a fluke. Let's get another defensive end in there that could rotate, that could rush the passer. Derek Hall is on the board. I think Derek Hall at this point in the draft would be an excellent addition for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he's got a relentless motor. He's got the toughness. He's got the skill to play at a high level at the NFL. Pretty fast, too. I believe he ran a 4.55. So that's really nice speed off the edge as well. Got good size, 6'3", 256 pounds. I think he'd slide in really nicely as a rotational guy for now, as a situational pass rusher, and then maybe potentially take over the starting spot. So I'm going to pick, where is he? He's somewhere over here. There he is, Derek Hall at pick number 74. Then at pick number 98 for the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to go right back to the defensive line here. I really like Kobe Turner at Wake Forest. This is a guy who has one of the best stories in the entire NFL draft class. He was a 4-year starter at Richmond, transferred to Wake Forest, and was unbelievable at Wake Forest, to be quite honest with you. To be fair, he never did start a game for Wake Forest, but 38 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 2 sacks. 2 sacks doesn't jump off the page at me, but with his strength and his elite get-off, I think that he'll be a fantastic pass rusher at the NFL level. And this is a really nice combo with Dalvin Tomlinson. Tomlinson is that guy that's the run-stuffing defensive tackle. You need someone more like a 3-tech like Kobe Turner can be that could get these offensive linemen knocked back. He could rush the passer. He's got a relentless motor. I think this would be a really, really nice addition at pick number 98 for the Cleveland Browns here. You really get some, and don't get me wrong, he's no slouch in defending the run as well, but he's more of a pass rushing type of defensive lineman. And I feel like with Jordan Phillips not really that great, Perrion Winfrey, having a little bit of a disappointing rookie season as well, I think getting someone like Kobe Turner would be excellent. Then at pick number 111, I'm going to go with a linebacker here. I think that Anthony Walker is a tremendous player, and I think bringing him back was an ideal situation for the Cleveland Browns. I'd really like to see them get some more linebacking depth. I really like Dorian Williams out of Tulane. This is a guy a little bit undersized, 6'1", 228, 230 pounds, around that range. But he's relentless when it comes to tackling. He's a great tackler. He's really good in zone coverage, and he has man coverage ability from the inside linebacker position as well. This is a position of need. I know that they have Sione Takitaki. I know that they have Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah as well. But I think that they need to get a little bit deeper at the position, and Anthony Walker would be a tremendous mentor to Dorian Williams, a young tackling machine. I mean, this is a guy who's had 130 plus tackles the past 2 seasons at Tulane. So the guy knows how to tackle. He knows how to cover. He had two or three interceptions last season, I believe. He's extremely productive, and I think you can't argue with that production. I think he just needs a little bit of a mentor at the next level. Walker is an excellent mentor at the next level, and I think that this could be a really nice find in the long term for the Cleveland Browns at pick number 111. I'm going to go defense a lot of these picks, just letting you guys know now. I know I just said I'm going defense with most of these picks, but I think we could all agree it's pretty imperative that whether through the draft or through undrafted free agents, that the Browns need to add a running back. After losing Kareem Hunt, it's Nick Chubb, it's Demetric Felton, and it's Jerome Ford. So you're looking at 2 backups besides for Nick Chubb, who's excellent, by the way. That goes without saying, that have a combined 16 rushing yards in their entire careers. I think getting someone like Kenny McIntosh, who might just be the best third down back in this entire draft class, would be key for the Cleveland Browns. Really give Nick Chubb that time off. He could break off a chunk play here or there. A lot of scouts see him shining in a third down back role. 6 foot, 204 pounds, so he's got the size, he's got the strength to be a really, really effective short yardage situation running back and a third down running back as well, to kind of keep Nick Chubb's legs fresh, because that's an Iron Man for the Cleveland Browns. You want to keep him as healthy as possible. One of the best running backs in the NFL. So getting someone like Kenny McIntosh, I think, would fill that Kareem Hunt role quite well. Then at pick number 140 for the Cleveland Browns here, I'm going to address the cornerback situation. Now, don't get me wrong. The Cleveland Browns have immense talent at the cornerback position. I mean, they got a really, really great rookie season out of Martin Emerson. They have Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward. The problem is with the Cleveland Browns cornerback situation, these guys are all outside cornerbacks. I really am looking for someone that could lock down the slot position. Mekhi Blackmon, sitting here in USC, 4.47 speed, got good size for the slot. He's comfortable playing in the slot, has playing time outside, mostly in the slot, though, at USC. I think that this is someone that could come in the later rounds here, round 5, and actually be a high-impact guy for the Cleveland Browns that could really lock down that position, because that was a position of need desperately last year. We saw Greg Newsome last year try out in the slot. Didn't really work out great for him. When you move him back outside, he's much better. So this is a position of need that I think that can get addressed later on in the draft, and I think that this would be a really great prospect for the Browns to pick up in round 5. Then at pick number 142 right after, I'm going to go for Charlie Jones here, wide receiver out of Purdue. This is someone who kind of is like a bigger version of Elijah Moore. He has great ball skills. His contested catch rate is really, really good. I think if this guy was maybe 20 pounds heavier and like 2 inches taller, we'd be thinking about Charlie Jones as someone in maybe like early or mid round 2, early round 3. He is incredible in production at the collegiate level at Purdue. I believe he had like 1,500 receiving yards or something crazy like that last season, something around that. Don't quote me. My numbers are, I think that they're right most of the time when it comes to production, but they're usually not. The 40-yard dashes and the height weight usually are spot on, but I think it was somewhere around there, though. He was uber productive at Purdue, and this is someone who could have the chance to develop into a slot starter for them. I know that they They just traded for Elijah Moore, and they have Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's always good to have talent at the wide receiver position. I mean, I always say that cornerback is a volatile position at the NFL. So is wide receiver. You could never have too much talent. And I know that the Browns did a good job of adding receivers this past offseason. But I mean, it's going to be night and day compared to last year. It was really Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and that was it. Now they got to have many more contributors, and I think Charlie Jones could be someone that might get a chance to produce in 2023. Then to pick number 190, I'm going to go for a little bit of safety depth here. I like Juan Thornhill and Grant Delpit as the two starters. I think that's really nice. Adding Juan Thornhill was a great addition for the Cleveland Browns. Behind them, I'm not really too happy about the depth. I like someone at this point like Jay Ward. Jay Ward is listed as a cornerback and was at the combine as a cornerback, but with his 4.55 speed, he's probably going to be best fit as a safety at the NFL level, especially with his size. Good size at 6'1", 195 pounds, but that speed is really going to convert him more into a safety. I think this would be a really nice addition at the back end of the draft, someone that you can get that could play a significant role in the backup duty. Then the pick number 229 to round out the Cleveland Browns draft. I'm just going to go with a little interior offensive line depth. It could never hurt. The starting five is set and is one of, if not the best starting five in the entire NFL. But behind and the interior, it's a little thin. I would like to see just a little bit more depth either here or an undrafted free agent or two just to kind of fill out the roster. So I'm going to take Alex Forsyth here, a guy that I think is slept on a little bit. I think should be more of like a 5th or 6th round prospect, but has experience at all two guard positions and center positions at Oregon. So I think that this would be some nice experience to add as a depth piece for the Cleveland Browns. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my full 7-round 2023 Cleveland Browns mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.